The golden retriever puppy placed his paw perfectly on Maya's knee for the third time in a row. His brown eyes locked on hers with an intensity that made her chest swell with pride. And she knew this was the moment that would change everything for a veteran somewhere, who needed hope as much as he needed help. Maya Chen had been training service dogs for veterans for 3 years now, working out of a converted barn on the outskirts of Portland, and every single placement felt like winning the lottery. She wiped her hands on her jeans and gave the puppy Max a treat from her pocket. His tail wagged so hard his entire back end shook. "Good boy," she murmured, scratching behind his ears. "You are going to save someone's life someday." The barn door creaked open and her assistant, Jenny, poked her head in. "Maya, there's someone here to see you. Says he has an appointment." Maya frowned. She had not scheduled any appointments for today. Her calendar was clear except for training sessions with the dogs. "Did he say what it's about?" "Something about funding. He's wearing a suit that probably costs more than my car." Maya's stomach did a little flip. Funding inquiries were rare, and most came through email first. She brushed dog hair off her sweatshirt, knowing it was a lost cause. Everything she owned was covered in fur. "Send him in, I guess." Jenny disappeared and Maya heard low voices outside. She stood up, and Max immediately sat at her heel. Good dog. She had been working with him for 4 months now, and he was progressing faster than most. The man who walked through the barn door was not what she expected. He was tall, probably 6'2", with dark hair that was slightly too long to be corporate but styled in a way that screamed money. His suit was charcoal gray and fit him perfectly. But it was his eyes that caught her attention, a striking blue that seemed to take in everything at once. He looked like he belonged on the cover of a business magazine, not in a barn that smelled like hay and dog treats. "Miss Chen." His voice was deep, smooth. "That's me." Maya wiped her hand on her jeans again before extending it. "And you are Ethan Morty." He shook her hand firmly. His palm was warm, his grip confident. "Thank you for seeing me without notice. I know I should have called ahead." "Morty," Maya repeated, the name tickling something in her memory. "Why does that sound familiar?" A small smile played at the corner of his mouth. "My family owns Morty Industries. We manufacture medical equipment and supplies." That was where she had heard it. Morty Industries was huge, one of the largest medical supply companies in the country. Maya felt suddenly very aware of the hay stuck to her boots. "And what brings a Morty to my barn?" "Your work." Ethan glanced around the space, and she tried to see it through his eyes. The barn was clean but old, with 6 large kennels along one wall and training equipment scattered around. 3 other dogs were in their kennels now, watching the visitor with interest. "I've been researching service dog programs for veterans, and your name kept coming up." "Really?" Maya crossed her arms, both flattered and suspicious. "We're pretty small. I'm surprised we're on anyone's radar." "Your placement success rate is 97%. That's higher than programs with 10 times your budget." Ethan pulled out his phone and scrolled through something. "You've placed 23 dogs in 3 years. Every single veteran who received one of your dogs reported significant improvement in their quality of life. 12 reported they no longer needed certain medications. 5 said your dog saved them from suicide." Maya's throat tightened. She knew her numbers, but hearing them said out loud by this stranger made them feel more real somehow. "The dogs do the real work. I just teach them. Don't downplay what you do." Ethan looked up from his phone and his gaze was intense. "My brother was in the Marines. He came back from Afghanistan with PTSD so bad he couldn't leave his apartment for 6 months. He wouldn't talk to our family, wouldn't accept help. A service dog changed his life." "I'm sorry," Maya said softly. "That must have been hard for all of you." "It was." Ethan's jaw tightened slightly. Marco's doing better now, but I'll never forget how helpless we all felt, how desperate, which is why I'm here. I want to fund your program. Maya blinked. Excuse me. Your facility is too small. You're training 3, maybe 4 dogs at a time. There are thousands of veterans who need what you offer. Ethan gestured around the barn. With proper funding, you could expand, hire more trainers, take on more dogs, make a real impact. It sounded too good to be true, which meant it probably was. Maya had learned to be cautious about offers that seemed perfect. What's the catch? No catch. Ethan slipped his phone back into his pocket. I want to help veterans, and I want to do it through people who know what they're doing. That's you. You don't even know me. I know your work speaks for itself. He took a step closer, and Maya caught a hint of his cologne, something woodsy and expensive. Let me take you to dinner. We can discuss the details, and you can ask me whatever you need to feel comfortable. Maya's heart was beating faster than it should. This was about business, about the dogs, about helping veterans, not about the way this man looked at her like she was the most interesting person he had met in years. I don't usually mix business with dinner. Then consider it a business meeting that happens to involve food. Ethan's smile was genuine now, transforming his face from handsome to devastating. I promise I don't bite. Max chose that moment to bark, making them both laugh. The tension broke and Maya found herself nodding before she could overthink it. Okay, dinner, but somewhere casual. I'm not exactly dressed for fine dining. You're perfect as you are. Ethan said it casually, but something in his tone made her cheeks warm. There's an Italian place downtown that makes the best lasagna in Portland. 7 o'clock. 7 works. After Ethan left, Jenny appeared from wherever she had been, definitely eavesdropping. Oh my God, Maya. Do you know who that was? Ethan Morty, yes, he told me. Not just Ethan Morty. That's Ethan Morty, the youngest CEO in the medical supply industry. He took over the company when he was 32 after his father retired. He's been on Forbes' most eligible bachelors list for 3 years running. Jenny was scrolling through her phone frantically. And he is single, and he just asked you to dinner. It's a business dinner. Maya went back to Max, who was waiting patiently. He wants to fund the program. Uh-huh, and I'm the Queen of England. Jenny showed her phone screen to Maya. It was a photo of Ethan at some charity gala, wearing a tuxedo and looking like he belonged in Hollywood. Men who look like that do not show up unannounced at barns in the middle of nowhere just for business. Stop. But Maya was smiling despite herself. I have work to do. Max needs to practice his anxiety response training. Jenny left, still grinning, and Maya tried to focus on the puppy. But her mind kept drifting back to Blue Eyes and the way Ethan had looked at her like she mattered. That evening, Maya stood in front of her closet in her small apartment above a bakery and groaned. She owned exactly 3 dresses, and 2 of them had visible stains from dog paws. The third was a simple navy blue dress she had bought for a friend's wedding 2 years ago. It would have to do. She showered, scrubbing the smell of dog and hay from her skin, and dried her long black hair until it fell in straight sheets down her back. Minimal makeup, small silver earrings, and brown boots that were only slightly scuffed. When she looked in the mirror, she looked like herself, just a cleaner version. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. It's Ethan. I'm outside when you're ready, no rush. Maya grabbed her purse and headed downstairs. The Italian restaurant was only 15 minutes away, but Ethan was leaning against a sleek black car that probably cost as much as she made in 2 years. When he saw her, he straightened, and his expression made her feel like she was wearing a ball gown instead of a 2-year-old dress. You look beautiful, he said simply. Thanks. Maya suddenly felt shy, which was ridiculous. She faced down 100-pound dogs every day without flinching. One attractive man should not make her nervous. So do you, I mean nice. You look nice. Smooth, Maya. Real smooth. Ethan just smiled and opened the car door for her. The interior smelled like leather and money. She buckled in and tried not to think about how out of her depth she was. The restaurant was cozy, with dim lighting and red checkered tablecloths. It looked like the kind of place where families came for birthdays and anniversaries, not where millionaires took business meetings. Maya relaxed a little. They ordered wine and food, and then Ethan leaned back in his chair, studying her. "Tell me how you got into training service dogs." "It's not a very exciting story," Maya warned. "I doubt that." She took a sip of wine for courage. "I was working as a veterinary technician 5 years ago. We had a client who bred golden retrievers, and one of her dogs had a litter that included a puppy with a mild heart murmur. Nothing life-threatening, but it meant he couldn't be sold as a show dog. The breeder was going to put him down." Ethan's expression darkened. "Seriously?" "Some breeders are like that. I couldn't let it happen, so I took the puppy home, named him Samson." Maya smiled at the memory. "He was the sweetest, smartest dog I'd ever met. I started teaching him tricks just for fun, and he picked them up so fast. Then I met a veteran at the grocery store who was having a panic attack in the parking lot. Samson went right up to him and put his head on the guy's lap. The veteran calmed down immediately. He told me he'd been on a wait list for a service dog for 2 years. "That's when you realized," Ethan said softly. "Yeah. I spent 6 months researching service dog training, took every course I could find, and eventually gave Samson to that veteran. His name was Robert. He still sends me photos every Christmas." Maya's eyes stung a little. "After that, I couldn't go back to just being a vet tech. I needed to do this full time." The waiter brought their food, and they ate in comfortable silence for a moment. The lasagna was as good as Ethan had promised, layers of pasta and cheese and meat sauce that melted on her tongue. "Your turn," Maya said. "Why do you really want to fund my program? You could donate to any charity in the world. Why mine?" Ethan set down his fork and met her eyes. "When Marco came back from Afghanistan, he was a ghost. The brother I knew, the guy who used to joke around and play basketball in the driveway, he was just gone. He wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't talk to our parents. We tried everything, therapy, medication, but nothing worked. He was fading away and we couldn't stop it." Maya reached across the table and touched his hand without thinking. "I'm so sorry." A friend recommended a service dog program. Marco resisted at first, but eventually he agreed to try. They matched him with a German shepherd named Luna. Ethan's voice was thick with emotion. Within a month, Marco was sleeping through the night for the first time in a year. Within 3 months, he was leaving his apartment, going to the grocery store, seeing friends. Luna gave him his life back. "Where is he now?" Maya asked gently. "He's managing a restaurant in Seattle. He's engaged. He's happy." Ethan flipped his hand over so their palms were touching. "And it's because someone like you trained Luna to help him. So when I say I want to fund your program, it's not charity. It's gratitude. It's making sure other families don't have to watch someone they love disappear." Maya's heart ached for him, for his brother, for all the veterans struggling in silence. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll let me help." Ethan squeezed her hand. "Say you'll let me give you the resources to do what you're already doing, just on a bigger scale." "Okay," Maya whispered. "Yes, okay." They spent the rest of dinner talking about logistics. Ethan wanted to start with a significant donation to upgrade her facilities and purchase more equipment. Eventually, he envisioned building a dedicated training center with space for a dozen dogs at a time, plus housing for trainers and classrooms for educational programs. "This is going to change everything," Maya said as they walked back to his car. The night air was cool and she shivered slightly. Ethan immediately shrugged out of his jacket and draped it over her shoulders. It was warm and smelled like him. That's the idea. He opened her door again, and she slid into the passenger seat. On the drive back to her apartment, Maya felt like she was floating. This morning she had been worried about whether she could afford to take on a fourth puppy. Now she was talking about building a training center. It was surreal. Ethan parked in front of her building and turned to face her. "I had a good time tonight." "Me too." Maya realized she was still wearing his jacket. She started to take it off, but he stopped her. "Keep it. You can give it back next time." "Next time? I'd like to see you again if you want." Ethan's confidence seemed to waver slightly, and it was endearing. "Not just for business. For dinner or coffee or whatever you'd like." Maya's pulse raced. She should probably say no. Mixing business and personal feelings was a terrible idea. But when she looked at Ethan, at the hope in his eyes, she could not bring herself to refuse. "I'd like that." His smile was radiant. "Good. I'll call you." Maya floated up to her apartment and immediately called her best friend, Priya, who lived in San Francisco. "You are not going to believe what just happened." She told Priya everything, from Ethan's appearance at the barn to dinner to the promise of funding. Priya listened without interrupting, which was unusual for her. "So let me get this straight," Priya said when Maya finished. "A gorgeous millionaire showed up out of nowhere, wants to fund your dream, and asked you on a date. It wasn't technically a date." "Maya, sweetie." "It was absolutely a date," Priya laughed. "This is like something out of a romance novel. Are you sure you didn't hit your head during training today?" "I'm serious. This is real." "I know, and I'm so happy for you." Priya's voice softened. "You deserve this, all of it. The funding, the recognition, and especially a guy who looks at you like you hung the moon. You haven't even seen how he looks at me." "I don't need to. I can hear it in your voice when you talk about him." After they hung up, Maya lay in bed wearing Ethan's jacket like an idiot, staring at the ceiling. She had not felt this way about anyone in years. Not since her ex-boyfriend had left her for someone with a more traditional career, someone who did not smell like dogs and spend 16-hour days in a barn. But Ethan seemed different. He understood why she did what she did. He valued it. And the way he had talked about his brother, the raw emotion in his voice, had shown her he was not just some rich guy looking for a tax write-off. He genuinely cared. Her phone buzzed with a text. "I meant what I said. You're doing important work and I'm honored to help. Sleep well, Maya." She typed back, "Thank you for everything. Talk tomorrow." The next morning, Maya arrived at the barn early to find a delivery truck parked outside. A man with a clipboard approached her. "Miss Chen, I have a delivery for you." "I didn't order anything. It's from Ethan Morty. He said you'd know what it's about." The truck was full of training equipment. New crates, leashes, harnesses, treat pouches, training vests, toys, and even a professional-grade agility course. Maya's jaw dropped. Jenny arrived and stopped dead in her tracks. "What is all this?" "Ethan." Maya was laughing and crying at the same time. "He sent training equipment." "That man is in love with you," Jenny said matter-of-factly. 100% completely in love. "Don't be ridiculous. We barely know each other." But Maya's phone buzzed with another text. "Saw you were running low on supplies. Hope this helps. Can I take you to lunch today?" She texted back. "You're insane. But yes to lunch." They met at a sandwich shop near the waterfront. Ethan was wearing jeans and a Henley shirt that showed off his broad shoulders, and Maya had to physically stop herself from staring. "The equipment was too much," she said as they sat down with their food. "It was necessary. If we're going to expand your program, you need proper supplies." Ethan bit into his sandwich. "Besides, I like the idea of doing something that would make you smile." It worked. Maya felt her cheeks warm. But I'm supposed to be the one thanking you, not the other way around. You can thank me by letting me spend more time with you." They talked for 2 hours, losing track of time. Ethan told her about growing up in a big Italian family, with 3 siblings and parents who still kissed at the dinner table after 40 years of marriage. He told her about taking over the company and the pressure to prove himself. He told her about Marco's deployment and how it had changed their entire family. Maya shared her own stories, growing up as the daughter of Chinese immigrants who wanted her to be a doctor or lawyer. The disappointment when she chose veterinary technology instead. The way her parents had slowly come around when they saw how happy she was working with animals. "Do they support what you're doing now?" Ethan asked. "They're proud in their own way. My mom tells everyone at her mahjong club about the dogs. My dad sends me newspaper clippings about veterans. It's how they show love." Maya smiled. "What about your parents? What do they think about you funding a random dog trainer? First, you're not random. Second, they think it's great. My mom especially. She's always telling me I work too much and need to find something meaningful to care about." Ethan's gaze was warm. "I think I've found it." The way he said it, looking directly at her, made Maya's breath catch. They were treading into dangerous territory, but she could not bring herself to step back. Over the next 2 weeks, Ethan became a constant presence in Maya's life. He showed up at the barn to watch training sessions, asking intelligent questions and playing with the puppies during their breaks. He brought coffee in the morning and takeout for lunch. He stayed late, helping clean kennels and fill water bowls, not caring that his expensive clothes got dirty. "You don't have to do this," Maya told him one evening as they bathed Max together. The puppy was covered in mud from an outdoor training session, and bath time was a 2-person job. "I know." Ethan scrubbed behind Max's ears while Maya worked on his paws. "I want to." "Don't you have a company to run? I have excellent managers, and I can work from anywhere." He looked up at her, his eyes serious. "I like being here, Maya, with you." Before she could respond, Max shook violently, spraying water everywhere. They both ended up soaked, laughing like children. Ethan's hair was dripping, his shirt plastered to his chest, and Maya thought he had never looked more handsome. "Come on," she said impulsively. "Let me make you dinner as a thank you for everything." Her apartment was small and cluttered with dog training manuals and equipment, but Ethan did not seem to mind. He sat at her tiny kitchen table while she cooked stir-fry, telling her stories about his siblings. "So Marco has Luna, but what about your other siblings?" Maya asked, chopping vegetables. "My sister, Isabella, is a pediatric surgeon in Boston. She's married with 2 kids, and my youngest brother, Luca, is finishing law school." Ethan accepted the beer she handed him. "We're all scattered now, but we try to get together for holidays." "That sounds nice. I'm an only child, so family gatherings are pretty quiet." Maya added the vegetables to the sizzling pan. "It's just me and my parents and whatever aunts and uncles happen to be around." They ate dinner talking about everything and nothing. Books they loved, movies they hated, places they wanted to travel. Maya learned that Ethan had a weakness for old westerns and terrible action movies. Ethan learned that Maya could not sing to save her life but loved karaoke anyway. "I need to see this," Ethan declared. "You, completely tone-deaf, singing karaoke?" "Absolutely not. That's classified information. I'll make you a deal. Come to a charity gala with me next month and I'll go to karaoke with you." Maya's smile faded. "A charity gala, that's not really my scene. It's for veterans' causes. I'm on the board and we're raising money for mental health services." Ethan reached across the table and took her hand. "I want you there. As my date, please." The word date hung between them, making everything real. This was not just business anymore. This was not just friendship. This was something more, something that made Maya's heart race and her palms sweat. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll go." The next day, Priya showed up unannounced with a garment bag. "I'm here to make sure you have something to wear to this gala." "How did you even know about that?" Maya asked, hugging her friend. "You told me last night on the phone, and you sounded terrified, so I took a personal day and drove up." Priya unzipped the garment bag to reveal a stunning emerald green dress. "This is going to look amazing on you." They spent the afternoon like they used to in college, trying on clothes and gossiping. Priya insisted Maya try on the dress, and when she did, she barely recognized herself. The color made her skin glow, and the cut was elegant without being too formal. "Ethan is going to lose his mind when he sees you in this," Priya said with satisfaction. "That's not the goal. The hell it isn't." Priya flopped onto Maya's bed. "You like him. He clearly likes you. What's the problem?" "The problem is that he's a millionaire CEO and I'm a dog trainer who lives above a bakery. We're from completely different worlds. So what? Romeo and Juliet were from different families and that worked out great. They both died, Priya." "Okay, bad example, but you know what I mean. Love doesn't care about money or status or whatever. It just is." Priya sat up, her expression serious. "Don't sabotage this before it even starts because you're scared." Maya knew her friend was right. Fear was the only thing holding her back. Fear that she was not good enough, that Ethan would eventually realize she did not fit into his world, that this fairy tale would end with her heart broken. But when Ethan picked her up the night of the gala, wearing a perfectly tailored tuxedo and looking at her like she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, all her fears melted away. "You're stunning," he breathed, handing her a corsage of white roses. "Absolutely stunning." The gala was held at a historic hotel downtown, all marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Maya felt out of place until Ethan took her hand and led her inside. With him beside her, she felt like she belonged. They mingled with other guests, and Ethan introduced her to everyone as the woman doing incredible work with service dogs. He talked about her program with such pride and enthusiasm that several people asked for her contact information to discuss donations. "You're really good at this," Maya murmured as they walked to their table. "At what?" "Making me feel like I matter, like what I do is important." Ethan stopped and turned to face her fully. Around them, the gala continued, but it felt like they were in their own bubble. "Maya, what you do is important. You save lives. You give hope to people who have none. That matters more than anything I do pushing papers and attending board meetings." Before she could respond, the lights dimmed and the program began. They sat through speeches and a video presentation about veteran mental health. Maya found herself tearing up during a segment featuring a veteran and his service dog. Ethan noticed and handed her his handkerchief without a word, his hand finding hers under the table. After dinner, there was dancing. Maya had not danced in years, but Ethan was patient, guiding her through a slow waltz as the band played something soft and romantic. "I'm going to step on your feet," Maya warned. "I don't care." Ethan pulled her closer and she could feel his heartbeat against her chest. "I just want to hold you." They swayed together and Maya let herself relax into his arms. This felt right, scary but right. "Maya," Ethan said softly, his breath warm against her ear, "I need to tell you something." "Okay. I didn't just show up at your barn because I wanted to fund your program. I mean, I did, but that wasn't the only reason." He pulled back slightly to look at her. "I'd been following your work for months, reading articles about you, watching videos of your training sessions online. I was fascinated by what you were doing. And then I saw a photo of you with one of the dogs you'd placed, and I thought you were the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen." Maya's breath caught. "Ethan, I know it sounds crazy. I know we barely know each other. But I feel something when I'm with you, something I've never felt with anyone else. You make me want to be better, do more, care deeper." His eyes were intense, vulnerable. "Tell me I'm not alone in this. Tell me you feel it too." "I feel it," Maya admitted, her voice shaking. "I'm terrified, but I feel it." Ethan's smile was brilliant. He cupped her face in his hands and kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. Around them, the music swelled, and Maya felt like she was in a movie. This could not be her life, but it was. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless, Ethan rested his forehead against hers. "I'm falling for you, Maya Chen, hard and fast and completely." "I'm falling too," she whispered back. The next few weeks were a blur of happiness. Ethan took her to nice restaurants and hole-in-the-wall diners. They went hiking in the mountains and spent lazy Sundays watching movies on her couch. He met her parents, and her mother immediately loved him, especially after he complimented her cooking in Mandarin he had learned just for the occasion. Maya met his family at a Sunday dinner, and they welcomed her with open arms. Marco especially was grateful when he learned what she did, introducing her to Luna and thanking her for training dogs that saved lives like his. "She's perfect for you," Marco told Ethan when Maya was in the kitchen helping Isabella with dessert. She overheard from the doorway. "Don't screw this up." "I don't plan to," Ethan replied, and the conviction in his voice made Maya's eyes sting. The program expansion was moving forward too. Ethan's initial donation had been generous, but he continued to contribute, and his connections brought in other donors. Within 2 months, Maya had hired 2 additional trainers and taken on 8 dogs at once. They were training puppies and older rescue dogs, matching them with veterans based on specific needs. One afternoon, Maya was working with a Labrador named Bella when Ethan appeared with a rolled-up set of blueprints. "What are those?" she asked, wiping sweat from her forehead. "Plans for the new training center." Ethan unrolled them on a table and Maya gasped. The building was beautiful, with separate wings for training, housing, and administration. There was an outdoor agility course, a swimming pool for physical therapy, and even a small apartment for live-in staff. "This is incredible," Maya breathed. "When can we break ground?" "That depends on you." Ethan pulled out another document. "I bought the land already. 20 acres about 15 miles from here. But I want this to be your center, not mine. I want you to make all the decisions." Maya looked up at him, overwhelmed. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll let me be part of this with you." "Not as a donor, but as a partner, in the program and in life." Ethan took both her hands. "Move in with me, Maya. Let's build this together." "That's a big step. I know, but I've never been more sure of anything." His eyes were earnest. "I love you. I'm in love with you. And I want to wake up next to you every morning and fall asleep beside you every night. I want to build this center and watch you change the world. I want everything with you." Tears streamed down Maya's face. "I love you too, so much it scares me." "Then be scared with me." Ethan kissed her softly. "We'll figure it out together." Moving in with Ethan was surreal. His house was enormous, a modern masterpiece with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the city. But he immediately made space for her, clearing out closets and turning a spare bedroom into an office for her program planning. The best part was that he insisted they could bring one of the dogs home to continue training. Maya chose a young German shepherd named Duke, who was being trained for a veteran with mobility issues. Duke settled into the house like he had always been there, and Ethan was surprisingly good with him. "You're a natural," Maya told him one evening as he practiced commands with Duke. "I had a good teacher." Ethan pulled her into his lap on the couch. Duke immediately came over, pushing his nose between them. They both laughed. Construction on the training center began in the fall. Maya spent her days overseeing the build and training dogs, while Ethan managed his company remotely. They fell into an easy rhythm, supporting each other through stress and celebrating victories together. One of Maya's favorite moments was when they placed a golden retriever named Sam with a veteran named David. David had been struggling with severe PTSD and had been on a wait list for a service dog for 18 months. When Maya introduced him to Sam, David had broken down crying. "He's perfect," David had said, hugging the dog. "You have no idea what this means." But Maya did know. She saw it in David's face, in the way his shoulders relaxed for the first time since they met. She saw it in the way Sam pressed against David's leg, already attuned to his needs. Ethan had been there for the placement, and afterward he had held Maya while she cried happy tears. "You did that," he whispered. "You gave that man his life back." "We did it," Maya corrected. "None of this would be possible without you." The training center was completed in the spring, exactly 1 year after Ethan had first walked into her barn. The grand opening was a huge event, with veterans, donors, and media in attendance. Maya gave a speech about the importance of service dogs and the healing power of the human-animal bond. Ethan stood in the front row, his eyes never leaving her face. After the ceremony, they walked through the new facility together. Everything was state-of-the-art, from the climate-controlled kennels to the sensory rooms designed for dogs learning anxiety response. It was more than Maya had ever dreamed possible. "Thank you," she told Ethan, squeezing his hand, "for all of this, for believing in me. Thank you for letting me be part of it." Ethan stopped in the middle of the main training room and turned to face her. He looked nervous, which was unusual for him. "What's wrong?" Maya asked. "Nothing's wrong. Everything's right." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Maya's heart stopped. "I've been carrying this around for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. But then I realized, every moment with you is perfect." He dropped to one knee and Maya's hands flew to her mouth. "Maya Chen, you are the most incredible person I've ever met. You're kind and passionate and brave. You make me want to be better. You make me believe in good things." Ethan opened the box to reveal a stunning diamond ring. "Will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life supporting your dreams and loving you with everything I have?" "Yes," Maya sobbed. "Yes, yes, yes." Ethan slipped the ring on her finger and stood, pulling her into his arms and spinning her around. They were both laughing and crying, and Maya thought her heart might explode from happiness. They got married 6 months later in a small ceremony at the training center, surrounded by family, friends, and a dozen dogs in bow ties and flower crowns. Marco was Ethan's best man, and Priya was Maya's maid of honor. Maya's parents cried through the entire ceremony, and Ethan's mother kept hugging everyone in sight. The vows they wrote were simple but heartfelt. Ethan promised to always support Maya's work and to never complain about dog hair on his suits. Maya promised to let Ethan spoil her occasionally and to always save him the last bite of her dessert. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, Ethan kissed Maya like it was the first time and the last time and every time in between. The reception was held in the main training room, decorated with twinkling lights and flowers. They danced to a song about coming home, and Maya felt like she finally had. Home was not a place. It was this man, this life they were building together. During the father-daughter dance, Maya's dad said, "I'm proud of you, daughter, not just for what you do, but for who you are. You found someone who sees your worth." "Thanks, Dad," Maya whispered, her throat tight with emotion. Later, Ethan pulled her aside to a quiet corner. "I have a wedding gift for you." "We said no gifts." I lied. He handed her an envelope. Inside was a check for an amount that made her gasp. "For the program, so you can open satellite locations, train more dogs, help more veterans." "Ethan, this is too much. It's not enough. It will never be enough to match what you give to the world." He cupped her face. "But it's a start." Maya kissed him, pouring all her love and gratitude into it. Around them, the party continued, but they were in their own world. The first year of marriage was an adjustment. They learned each other's quirks and habits, figured out how to fight fair and make up better. Maya learned that Ethan was grumpy before his morning coffee, and that he secretly loved terrible reality TV shows. Ethan learned that Maya talked to the dogs like they were people, and that she always stole his hoodies. But through it all, their love only grew stronger. Ethan continued to be Maya's biggest supporter, attending every placement ceremony and celebrating every success. Maya pushed Ethan to take breaks from work and reminded him that life was about more than quarterly earnings. 2 years after they married, Maya found out she was pregnant. She told Ethan over dinner, sliding an ultrasound photo across the table. He stared at it for a long moment, his eyes filling with tears. "We're having a baby. We're having a baby," Maya confirmed, her own voice shaking. Ethan came around the table and dropped to his knees, pressing his face against her stomach. "I love you," he whispered. "Both of you so much." Their daughter, Lily, was born in the spring, with dark hair and bright blue eyes like her father. Ethan was a natural parent, getting up for midnight feedings and changing diapers without complaint. Maya fell even more in love with him watching him with their daughter. The training center continued to thrive. They had placed over 200 dogs in the 4 years since opening, and the success rate remained above 95%. Maya hired more trainers, and they started offering classes for veterans who wanted to train their own dogs. One day, Maya was working in her office at the center when a man walked in. He was in his 50s with gray hair and kind eyes. "Are you Maya Morty?" "Yes, can I help you?" "My name is Robert. You gave me a dog named Samson about 7 years ago." Maya's eyes widened. Samson, her first placement, the golden retriever that had started everything. "Robert, of course. How is Samson?" "He's getting older, slowing down. But he's still the best thing that ever happened to me." Robert's voice was thick. "I wanted to come thank you in person. You saved my life." "Literally. I was in a dark place when you gave me Samson and he pulled me out. I have grandkids now. I got to walk my daughter down the aisle. I got to live because of you." Maya stood and hugged him, both of them crying. "You did the work, Robert. Samson just helped you find your way." "Can I meet him?" Robert asked, gesturing to a photo of Ethan and Lily on Maya's desk. "Your husband, I want to thank him too for supporting what you do." Maya called Ethan, who came from the administration building with Lily on his hip. Robert shook his hand and thanked him for funding the program that had saved his life. Ethan just smiled and said, "Thank my wife. She's the one who does the real work." After Robert left, Ethan wrapped his arms around Maya from behind, Lily between them. "Moments like that," he said softly, "are why we do this. I know." Maya leaned back against him. "I love you. I love you too. Always." They stood there in her office, surrounded by photos of placed dogs and thank you letters from veterans, and Maya thought about how much her life had changed. 7 years ago, she had been alone in a barn with one puppy and a dream. Now she had a husband who adored her, a daughter who made every day brighter, and a thriving program that had helped hundreds of people. And it had all started because a millionaire had walked into her barn and seen not just what she was doing, but who she was. He had seen her passion, her dedication, her heart. And he had chosen to love her, support her, and build a life with her. Over the next few years, they expanded the program even more. Satellite locations opened in 3 other states, each staffed with trainers Maya personally vetted. The success stories piled up, and the program won several awards for innovation and impact. When Lily was 4, Maya found out she was pregnant again, this time with twin boys who they named Marcus and Leo. The house was chaos, full of crying babies and barking dogs and laughter that echoed off the walls. Ethan thrived in the chaos. He worked from home more often, taking conference calls with a baby in his arms and a dog at his feet. He never complained about the noise or the mess. He just rolled up his sleeves and helped. One evening, after the kids were finally asleep, Maya and Ethan collapsed on the couch together. They were both exhausted, covered in spit-up and dog hair. "This is insane," Maya said, laughing. "Our life is absolutely insane." "I know." Ethan pulled her close, kissing her temple. "I love it, me too." She turned to look at him. "Do you ever miss your old life? The quiet, the order, the clean suits?" "Not even a little bit." Ethan's smile was genuine. "This is what I always wanted. I just didn't know it until I met you. You gave me purpose, Maya. You gave me a family and a mission and a reason to get up every morning." "You gave me the same thing," Maya said softly. "You believed in me when I barely believed in myself. You made my dreams possible. We made each other's dreams possible." Ethan kissed her, slow and deep. That's what love does. On their 10-year anniversary, Ethan surprised Maya with a vacation to Italy. They left the kids with his parents and spent 2 weeks eating amazing food and exploring ancient cities. It was the first time they had been alone together in years, and it felt like a second honeymoon. One night in Rome, they sat at a cafe watching people walk by. Maya had her head on Ethan's shoulder, his arm around her waist. "You remember when we met?" Ethan asked. "Of course. You walked into my barn in an expensive suit and offered to change my life. You changed mine first." He kissed the top of her head. "Best decision I ever made, funding your program. Best decision I ever made, saying yes to dinner with you." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the world go by. Maya thought about everything they had built together. The training center that now helped over 100 veterans a year. The 3 beautiful children sleeping safely thousands of miles away. The love that had only grown deeper and stronger with time. Life was not always easy. There were hard days at work and sleepless nights with sick kids. There were disagreements about money and schedules, and whose turn it was to clean up dog vomit. But through it all, they had each other. And that made everything worthwhile. When they returned home, their kids ran into their arms, and the dogs barked excitedly, and the house was loud and messy and perfect. This was what Maya had worked for, what she had built. Not just a program, but a life full of love and purpose and meaning. Years continued to pass in a beautiful blur. Lily grew into a compassionate girl who loved helping at the training center, already showing signs of following in her mother's footsteps. The twins were wild and energetic, keeping everyone on their toes. The program celebrated its 15th anniversary with a huge ceremony. Over 1,000 dogs had been placed with veterans, and the impact was undeniable. Studies showed that veterans with service dogs from Maya's program had significantly better outcomes in every measure of quality of life. At the ceremony, Maya stood on stage and looked out at the crowd. Veterans and their dogs filled the auditorium. Her family sat in the front row, Ethan holding 5-year-old Leo, Marcus coloring quietly, and Lily paying rapt attention to every word. "When I started this program," Maya said, "I had one dog and a lot of hope. I wanted to help veterans, to give them a tool for healing. But what I learned is that these dogs do more than just help. They save lives. They give hope. They remind us that we are not alone, that we are worthy of love and care." She paused, her eyes finding Ethan's. He was smiling at her with so much pride and love that her chest ached. None of this would have been possible without the support of incredible people. My staff, my donors, my family. But especially my husband, Ethan. Maya's voice wavered. He saw something in me and in this program when it was just a dream. He gave me the resources to succeed, but more importantly, he gave me the confidence to believe I could. He has been my partner in every sense of the word, and I am grateful every single day that he walked into my barn 15 years ago. The crowd applauded, and Ethan blew her a kiss. After the ceremony, they celebrated with dinner at the Italian restaurant where they had their first date. The kids were with Maya's parents, so it was just the two of them. 15 years, Maya said, raising her glass. Can you believe it? Best 15 years of my life. Ethan clinked his glass against hers. Here's to 15 more and 15 after that, and however many we get. Forever, Maya said softly. I want forever with you. You have it. Ethan reached across the table and took her hand. His wedding ring caught the light, and Maya remembered the day he had proposed in the training center they had built together. You've always had it. They talked late into the night, reminiscing about their journey. From that first meeting to their wedding to the birth of their children to all the dogs they had trained and placed. Every memory was precious, every moment a gift. When they finally went home, the house was quiet. They checked on the kids, who were sleeping soundly in their beds. Then they went to their own room and held each other, grateful for the life they had created. Maya thought about the girl she had been, alone in a barn with one puppy and a mountain of doubt. She wished she could tell that girl that everything would work out better than she ever imagined, that she would find love and purpose and happiness beyond her wildest dreams. But maybe that girl had known, deep down. Maybe that was why she had said yes to Ethan that first time. Why she had taken a chance on this handsome stranger who wanted to fund her passion. Maybe her heart had recognized what her mind was too afraid to admit, that this was the beginning of something extraordinary. As Maya drifted off to sleep in Ethan's arms, she smiled. Life was full of unexpected miracles. Dogs that healed broken hearts, veterans who found hope again, and millionaires who walked into barns and fell in love with the women training dogs inside. Her miracle had started with a golden retriever puppy and a dream, but it had become so much more. It had become a family, a legacy, a love story that would last forever. And every single day, when she watched Ethan play with their children, or saw a veteran reunited with their service dog, or received a letter thanking her for changing someone's life, Maya was reminded of one simple truth. The best things in life come from taking chances on love, on dreams, and on each other. She had trained service dogs for veterans and impressed a millionaire sponsor who wanted to fund her passion. But what she had really done was found her soulmate, built an empire of hope, and created a life filled with more joy than she ever thought possible. That was the real miracle. Not the money or the success or the recognition, but the love, the deep, abiding, transformative love that had grown from a chance meeting into something eternal. And as Maya fell asleep, she knew with absolute certainty that she would do it all again in a heartbeat. Every struggle, every challenge, every moment of doubt, because it had all led her here, to this perfect life with this perfect man and these perfect children and this perfect purpose. She had found her home in Ethan's arms. She had found her calling in training dogs. And she had found herself in the intersection of both, becoming the woman she was always meant to be. The story of how they met would become family legend, told at holidays and passed down to grandchildren. The millionaire who fell in love with the dog trainer. The woman who changed countless lives and captured one heart completely. A love story for the ages built on mutual respect, shared passion, and the unwavering belief that together they could change the world. And they did. One dog, one veteran, one day at a time. But most importantly, they changed each other. Ethan had given Maya the resources to achieve her dreams. Maya had given Ethan a reason to use his wealth for good. Together, they had created something beautiful and lasting. Years later, when their grandchildren asked how Grandma and Grandpa fell in love, Ethan would always say the same thing. I walked into a barn looking to fund a program, and I walked out having found my heart. And Maya would add, with a smile that still made Ethan's pulse race after decades of marriage, and I was just trying to train dogs, but I ended up training myself to believe in love again. It was the truth. Simple, beautiful, profound. A love story written in dog fur and determination, in quiet moments and grand gestures, in the everyday miracle of two people choosing each other, every single day for the rest of their lives. And that was the greatest success of all.